So we are currently 2 days into maximum summoning, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been pretty impressed so far, considering I've been pretty pessimistic about the Rush format as a whole for quite a while now, just because of how badly it seems Konami were treating the format, but maximum summoning might have actually changed my mind, and one of the forerunners for that is of course one of the cheapest decks in the format, and that is of course Harpie. Although it does feel kind of weird calling this a maximum summon deck, considering I started my climb today at about Silver 3, and I finished my climb about 2 wins before King of Games, and in that entire time, I only maximum summoned a singular time. To be fair, it's probably a good thing considering just how powerful the base monsters are of this max summon. If we were consistently max summoning on top of just how powerful the base pieces are, we'd probably have a very problematic deck list on our hands. But without further ado, let's just go check out some Harpies. So here's today's deck list. Just a reminder before I get to the deck list, if you guys are enjoying today's video and want to see some more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, so apparently about 35% of you watching this are even subscribed to the channel, meaning 65% of you haven't even subscribed yet. So you guys are enjoying this kind of content, want to see some more deck lists from me in the future or more videos from me in the future, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's jump into this deck list. Alright, so today's deck list is obviously going to be Harpies, and the first thing you should have noticed when looking at this deck list is how absurdly cheap it is. Because obviously, we just got these Harpies via an event, so they're all completely free. This card was another event card you can get via tickets, I'm pretty sure now. We've got some rare trick pigeons here, which I'm pretty sure you could even get a couple of copies from the structure deck, which at some point was given out for free as well, on top of coming from the previous boxes as well. We've got this card which comes from your sales, or whatever the hell they're called, the bundles. We've got the Harpy Lady, which is a ranked ticket, I'm pretty sure. We've got your Kana, which was I think a drop or a starter deck or something. A bunch of normals from the latest box. Another one of your bundle cards. One copy of the SR. Your trap card, another bundle card. And we've got another couple of trap cards from the box. So there is like no actual expensive cards in here outside of course your Harpy's Pet Dragon, which I do encourage you to play at least 2 of. I did try a few variations with only 1 just to see if I could make this deck list even cheaper, but it definitely felt a hell of a lot better with 2 of them, so I'm playing 2 of them. But if you wanted to build just this deck list, you could literally reset the latest box as soon as you hit the Harpy's Pet Dragon, and you should be able to build this thing for absolutely nothing. It should just be an incredibly cheap deck list. This is like, comparing this to like the standard speed duel decks, having an entire deck list where the only 2 ultra rares in here are just like 2 singular ultra rares and the rest of the deck is all just bundle cards or free cards is completely absurd. So a very cheap deck to say the least. So to start us off, let's start by going through the Harpy cards themselves, starting off with your main middle piece of the Harpy Lady Sisters. Alright, requirement: shuffle 2 wind attribute winged beast type monsters from your graveyard into the deck. 1 face-up monster on your field gains 500 attack until the end of this turn, then if this card's in maximum mode, inflicts 500 damage to your opponent. So, very important to note with the Harpies compared to the other maximums in the game, they all have effects that are usable even when they're not in their maximum form. Alright, then we have the left piece, which is in my opinion the strongest of the Harpy pieces, purely because obviously Widespread Ruin is an incredibly popular card in the game at the moment. Alright, this thing has a continuous effect where this card's name becomes Harpy Lady Sisters, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap effects. Then if this card's in maximum mode, increase this card's level by 5. So this thing, even by itself, once you have it on the field, you're completely immune to Widespread Ruin, which is completely insane. As long as you keep this thing having the highest attack on your field, so you buff it via your skill or you buff it via your sisters, and you keep this thing as high stat pointed as possible, you're completely immune to Widespread, which is arguably the only super impactful trap card in the game currently. So if you keep this thing on your field as often as possible, and you can obviously recycle this thing back with your trick pigeons or grab it back with your monster Reincarnation, if you keep this thing on the field as often as possible, trap cards do, or your Widespread Ruin does absolutely nothing to you, so you're completely safe to it. So, an insane card. And the bonus effect, being able to increase the level, is also really important considering there's a lot of cards in the game, such as this trap card here, that only works on like level 8 or lower, and this thing of course makes your maximum over level 8. Alright, Then we have your Right Sister. This thing does basically the same thing, except it makes it immune to monsters instead of the trap cards. And not as impactful, more impactful when it's in the big form, of course, because you want to keep your maximum super safe. And there is some monster destruction in the game, just not a lot of it right now, so not as useful. It also, when it's in maximum mode, makes it so that your monster can attack monsters 3 times, which is a lot of damage, but like I said during the intro, you don't actually maximum summon all that often, so it's kind of nice to have it some sort of game finishing sort of move when you do get that maximum summon off, considering how just unlikely it is when you only have 2 extra pieces and the 3 main ones. So yeah, that's basically it for the actual Harpy ladies. Then of course we have your Harpy's pet dragon. This thing has a continuous effect gains attack equal to the number of face up Harpy lady or times 300 or Harpy lady sisters times 900. And keep in mind, by the way, that's not just your monsters, that's your opponents as well. So in the mirror match, this thing is gigantic, but even during your own, if you have a couple of Harpies on either side, that's 1800 attack on top of the 2000 attack it already has. You can buff this thing via your skill, it just becomes completely gigantic, so a very important card to have in the deck list. And that's basically it for the main deck. We're playing, of course, a couple of copies of Seahorse Carrier for an extra bit of a tribute fodder by going back your Kanas. We're playing the Trick Pigeons, which can discard spells to add back your Winged Beast from Graveyard. We're playing your Summon Skull of the deck list, your Legend Alligator, which is just a 2500 attack beater. And yeah, we've got Monster Reincarnation to add back your Harpies. We've got your brand new spell card, which can be very useful for outing maximum monsters, since it just makes a very big monster lose a shit ton of attack by shuffling 4 monsters back into the deck list. Also very good at recycling your Harpies, considering we only have a couple of them, so putting some back in the deck list is really useful for later on. And then we have the brand new trap card, which just, whenever your opponent tries to swing into you, you can make their monster lose 100 attack times its level. Just a basically powerful version of the barrier, considering most monsters in this game are at least level 4 or higher. It's just a very powerful trap card, but you want to at least have a few spawn trap cards in this deck list because we are playing Trick Pigeon, which is sort of the main reason we're playing these cards. And the final thing to go through this deck list is of course the brand new skill, Hysteric Force. Alright, this skill can be used if the only monsters with 1400 or more attack in your deck list are Wind Attribute. One face-up Harpy Lady Sisters or Harpy Pet Dragon on your field gains attack equal to that monster's level times 100 until the end of this turn. If there are no attack position monsters on your opponent's field, you can change one defense position monster on your opponent's field to face up attack position. And again, just like with a lot of the skills currently, not a once per duel. You can use this every single turn to basically make it so your opponent has to have monsters face up, meaning you can always deal damage to your opponent, which is very important once you actually get the maximum summoning off. Otherwise your opponent will just set one monster face down every single turn and you'll never get to do lethal damage to them. But even when you're not in maximum mode, being able to flip your opponent's monsters face up is super useful. And of course attack boosting your 2100 attack monsters, being able to actually beat over some of the bigger monsters in the game, also incredibly useful. So this is a must use skill for Harpies. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the deck list portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay showcasing this deck list in action, and without further ado, let's see what this deck list can do. Alright, so today I've saved 6 replays to share with you guys, all of which were taken from Silver 3 all the way up to 2 games before King of Games. And the reason there's such like a wide range of ranks there is because I didn't actually plan to play for that long, but it took me that long, the very final game, before I actually got a maximum summon replay. It just took that long. This deck list definitely doesn't maximum summon that often, because of course we only have 1 copy of each, the left and the right one of course, so it makes it really hard to maximum summon, but that certainly doesn't hold this deck list back whatsoever. I definitely think Harpies is top tier. Where in that top tier? Not sure, but yeah, I definitely think it's probably worse than Royal Rebel, but I do think it's a very solid deck. Alright, so this was a very bad opening hand, a huge brick, opening both our pet dragons and another tribute fodder, so I just tried to empty my hand as best I could, basically. Which is alright, because at least this thing had a high defense stat, but we're going to take a bunch on the clapback. Thankfully our opponent didn't draw any big Harpies either, though. Alright, summoning out my pet dragon, which actually is gaining a stat boost from my opponent's Harpies as well. So it's gigantic. Then I do the really stupid noob thing, and I swing in with this one first, rather than swinging in with this one, so I just lost myself 300 damage. Because of course, this thing lost stats when I popped my opponent's Harpy. Alright, opponent having a bit of a brick. Alright, attack boost and swing in. He's going to use his counter Pigeon just to not take as much damage. Reversal to stop the attack. And finally, he decides to draw some Harpies. Alright, reduces the attack of mine. This card is so big. Its stat just keeps getting bigger. Now he sums out his big Harpy as well. But I've got a widespread ruin, which does definitely not make him very happy. Alright, Hysteric Force making him really big. Buffing once again, even bigger. Spreading out the damage a bit. Or the stats a bit in case if he has a widespread or something. Yeah, he's just dead on field. Alright. So that was a really... I wanted to show at least one replay where I was showing off the mirror match, so I saved that one. Because I just think it's kind of funny that you're getting a huge stat bar from your opponent's monsters. It makes Pet Dragon just an incredible card. It makes you have to worry very much about your opponent's Pet Dragons too. To make sure you are prepared for if they summon one. Because that shit could be like 4,000 or more attacks sometimes. Alright.
Get ready for the rush.
So, honestly not the greatest hand. I am going to tribute summon out the Pet Dragon here because there's a lot of defense and we can potentially defend it with the widespread, so I'm pretty confident in keeping it on the field. Unfortunately lose the widespread, but our opponent has like nothing on turn 1 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Normal summon, flip face up. Hysteric Force buffing the dragon, swinging in, and hitting our opponent for 1200. Alright, this skills actually seems pretty impressive by the way. Does it fat stat reductions? It's kind of annoying. Thankfully no big boys being summoned yet though. Reincarnation giving us back our dragon. We still haven't drawn a Harpy by the way, which feels pretty bad. So just living off of these dragons right now. Thankfully they can trigger the skill so we can at least stat buff something. Couldn't actually swing over this card with these cards, which is kind of depressing. Alright, now our opponent's got some big boys on field. Attack reducing as well, getting us kind of low. And hoping we're going to actually draw into some Harpies soon. Alright, there we go, we drew a Harpy. So Trick Pigeon's adding back a Faith Third. This is so we can actually full clear the whole field by having a 1500 attack monster. I was kind of hoping to draw at least another Harpy here, but gonna have to live with just the one. Do have a full clear at least though. Alright, and that was apparently enough to get our opponent to concede. Alright. So I can feel, there's some things that do feel pretty bad about this deck list considering there's only 5 Harpies, and there's only like one tribute monster being your legend monster, so it can be kind of hard to draw them sometimes. But that's just sort of Rush Duel in a nutshell though. Sometimes you just don't draw the high level monsters, or sometimes you draw too many low level monsters, or it's just how be this format is, you know?
Let's begin.
That was some good English right there. How be this format is. Alright, set and 3 in passing. Opponent's playing Thunder, which is actually I was really impressed with this deck list by the way. Although we drew kind of insane this duel. Complete opposite of the previous ones. Absolutely insane opening hand. So we're going to tribute summon 2 Pet Dragons and summon out a copy of Sisters as well. Before activating the Force, making a 4100, 4200 monster? 4100 attack on turn 1. And I think our opponent already concedes. If I remember correctly. And he's going to tribute to the dudes, pop 1 monster, and then concede. There we go. Yeah, but that was an example of really popping off with the deck list. Alright. Up against Mr. Luke over here now. Alright. No Harpies in opening hand, so not great. Hoping to top deck into something. Opponent's going to set some stuff. We're just going to do a whole lot of nothing, I think. Clear out some of those set monsters so he doesn't have extra tribute fodder. Well, try to clear out the set monster. Alright, opponent's going to buff the shit out of his little dragon. And clear the field. No Dragius, thankfully. Alright, and we still didn't draw into any Harpies. God, this video's had a lot of bricks in it. I really should have saved some replays that weren't just fat bricks now that I think about it. Alright, opponent's having a bit of a brick fest too. Holy brick fest. Where are my Harpies at, man? Bottom of the deck. Alright, Hysteric Force buffing my dude over here, beating over his monsters. Alright, Sword and Shield changing the... I don't know why he would use Sword and Shield with this thing on the field, just gains more attack, but anyway. He's gonna have to use his Seal Array to reduce this. I guess he just didn't read this thing's defense. Alright, he doesn't even have anything to swing over these, so I have no idea why I used Sword and Shield, but anyway. Alright, finally drew some Harpies. Or a Harpy. Hysteric Force, attack boost. Recycling back for even more attack stats. Beating over, and smacking him in the face. Alright. Hope these next two games are gonna be a little bit less. More Harpy draws would be nice. God, the Rush Duel format in a nutshell. We're up against another Dragon player by the looks of things.
I'm ready whenever you are. Get
Alright.
ready for the rush.
Opponent set 3 passing, we're going to do exactly the same, summoning only one monster. Hit with a widespread, and that is very unfortunate, giving our opponent 3 summons potentially. And he's also playing some Harpies by the looks of things. Alright, Sister's shuffling back in, going to be swinging in with a 4300 attack monster. Thank God we have widespread. Holy shit, that would have hurt. That would have really hurt actually, we probably would have died. Alright, Tribute summoning out our one Harpy, attack boosting it to beat over. He's got a counter Pigeons, which does force out the trade. Alright, thankfully no Pet Dragon once again, because that would have been absolutely devastating. Swings into my 1400 defense monster. I don't know why he would do that, by the way. We're playing the same, like, archetype. He knows I have monsters in here with 1400 defense, but anyway. Bit greedy, I guess. Seahorse Carrier giving us back some resources for Tribute. Tribute summoning twice, summoning the Harpy, and saving the Trick Pigeon for adding back Harpies later on. Alright, attack boosting once again. That is a full clear on the field. Feeling pretty good. Alright, trades into our monster, passes the turn. We drew a whole bunch of shit. One of which is, of course, the Pet Dragon, which is incredibly important in this matchup, as you know. Considering he's got no widespread left, he's taking a bunch of damage. He had no face-up Harpies, though, so not that much damage. Just a casual 5k. It's amazing this card alone can actually beat over things like maximum monsters and stuff. This card has so much stats. Alright, he's adding back his own Harpy this time. And then gives it the old, good old seppuku. Alright, final replay, and this was the maximum summon replay. This is a bang. This is actually peak replay. This one. This is a banger. I wish all my replays could look like this and make every video look so goddamn insane. So up against another maximum deck.
Get ready for the rush.
So turn 1, we're just gonna set some stuff and pass. Again, just like with I actually don't think I saved that replay, but I could have summoned these 2 monsters, tributing these 2 cards, summon these 2 to the field, and that would have given me some more draws. But then I didn't have like any chance of drawing into my maximum summon on the next turn, which right now I'm only 1 piece off, so I'm gonna take the gamble because I'm looking for a maximum summon replay. But you should probably summon these 2 cards most of the time to have some pressure and to actually draw some more cards. I'm not sure, but yeah, probably keeping these 2 in hand was probably not the greatest idea, because I could just top deck into all like high level tributes here and then I'd be really annoyed. Thankfully our opponent didn't draw a whole lot, bit of a brick on his end so far. So now I can summon out my Harpies and swing in. Changing his monster into attack position so he can't just try to stall us out. Force him to actually try to do something. Which do something he does, I believe. Yep, maximum summoning out the big wide dragon, or whatever the hell this card's name is. Alright, and my headphones ran out of battery. I think that probably paused the recording for a second, that's alright. Alright, swings in for a little bit of damage. Not a whole lot though, decides to use the trap card to take less damage. Alright, before maximum summoning ourselves. Holy. And our monster's better than his monster, so we're just going to swing over it. 4,900, smacking him in the dome. And yeah, he just decides, GG buddy, you win. Alright. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just still have a couple of videos planned around Rush over the next coming days, including a tier list video, and I'll probably do a point battle stream later tonight if you guys don't want to watch that stream or tune into the point battle or even play in the point battle yourselves, so look out for that one. Thank you guys for watching, hope you see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.